He done things on a football pitch that no one even contemplated trying.
The best in the world, so yeah, Ronaldinho for me.
Who's your childhood hero?
Ronaldinho.
Ronaldinho.
The best player on the planet.
He's a great player.
He loved playing football.
He had an aura and energy, a smile on his face that it was.
This guy transcends football. The streets will never forget him, Reeve.
How is this possible physically?
No skills.
The best player on the planet.
Where I was like shocked, the best player who ever touched the ball.
The best player in the world. And
He blew my mind playing against him because he had everything.
Ronaldinho was born on March 21st, 1980. His father, João, was a semi-professional footballer. His brother Assis would go pro too. Football wasn't a dream in a house, it was oxygen. When his father died of a heart attack, Ronaldinho was 8. His mother worked multiple jobs. The streets became his second home, the ball his closest companion. He played with joy, the kind that makes everything else disappear. By 7, he was beating grown men on futsal courts. Futsal shaped him. Tight spaces, split-second decisions, close control, deception. It's where the elastico and the no-look pass were born. At 15, he scored 23 goals in a single youth tournament. Grêmio signed him. Structured coaching refined him, but the streets had already done the real work. At 17, he broke into Grêmio's first team, smiling, fearless, already at home. In 2001, Paris Saint-Germain signed him. He struggled with the cold and the culture, not the football. 17 goals in 31 games. Paris was only the prologue. Then came Japan. 2002, the FIFA World Cup. Brazil arrived as one of the favorites. And what happened was historic. They were unstoppable. And the reason, one of the central reasons, was a 22-year-old who had been playing in Paris and was about to become the most exciting footballer alive. Ronaldinho at the 2002 World Cup was not the peak Ronaldinho. That would come later, but he was electric. He was chaotic and brilliant and dangerous and joyful. In the group stage, he was extraordinary. Against England in the quarterfinal, he scored one of the most remarkable free kicks in World Cup history. A curling, dipping, audacious strike from distance that floated over David Seaman and into the net. The English goalkeeper was humiliated. The world was watching. Ronaldinho was sent off in that same match for a reckless tackle. He would miss the semi-final, but it did not matter. Brazil won the whole thing. The final against Germany. 2-0. Ronaldo, reborn and magnificent, scored both goals. But it was Ronaldinho who had captured something else. Not just goal scorers win tournaments. It was Ronaldinho who had captured the imagination, the smile, the improvisation, the way he made football look like something invented that afternoon rather than rehearsed for months. He returned to Paris a World Cup winner. He was 22 years old with a World Cup medal and the whole planet beginning to pay attention. And then came the phone call that changed everything.
But he's the only player that I've seen in history that he could transform by himself 2 clubs. He did it in Paris, he transformed it. He went to Barcelona and one of the worst moments, he transformed it. He had an aura, an energy, a smile on his face that it was impossible to be next to him and be in a bad mood, you know? And then I never seen a talent like this. In training, in every drill, it's like, how is this possible? Physically, it's impossible to do certain things. It was unbelievable to play with him.
In the summer of 2003, FC Barcelona were in a state of quiet crisis. The club had not won the Liga title since 1999. The Champions League felt like a distant dream. There was financial instability. The books were alarming. The signings had been wrong. The identity of the club was blurred. Joan Laporta had just been elected as president on a mandate of change. A new era was being promised. But promises are cheap in football. Barcelona needed something more than a player. They needed a symbol. The dominant narrative of that summer was the Galacticos of Real Madrid. Florentino Perez had built an empire of marquee names. Zidane, Figo, Ronaldo, the Fenomeno, and Beckham had just arrived. The idea was simple. Buy the most famous footballer on earth. Put him in a white shirt. Sell the shirts. Win trophies. Repeat. It was corporate. It was calculated. It worked, at least commercially. Barcelona could not compete with that model financially. So they did something different. They bought a player not for his brand value, but for his brilliance. Ronaldinho arrived at Camp Nou for a fee of around 30 million euros. It was not the most expensive transfer of that summer. It was not even the most discussed, but it would become, over the next 3 years, the most consequential. He walked into Camp Nou for his presentation in July 2003. 90,000 people were in the stadium, not for a match, for an introduction, for a first look at the man Laporta had bet the new era on. He touched the ball, just a few keepy-uppies during his presentation, but the crowd felt something. It is hard to explain precisely what. Something in the touch, something in the ease, something in that smile, but something passed between Ronaldinho and those 90,000 people in that moment that told everyone in the stadium, this is different. Something has changed. His first season at Barcelona was extraordinary. He contributed goals and assists with a consistency that made the league sit up. But it was the way he played that the Camp Nou fell in love with. There was a match against Sevilla in November 2003, Ronaldinho's 7th match for the club, in which he produced a sequence of play that caused the commentators to simply stop speaking.
Now Ronaldinho. Oh, it's a terrific goal! Wonderful, wonderful goal! Absolutely breathtaking, Ronaldinho!
The Camp Nou buzzed, and it would keep buzzing for 3 more years. By the end of the 2003 to 2004 season, Barcelona had finished second in the Liga. Close, but not there. The new era was assembling, and Ronaldinho, at 23, was beginning to look less like a promising signing and more like something genuinely once in a generation. But the question of how he actually played, the mechanics of the magic, that deserves its own chapter.
Mais atrás. Olha só o lençol, que beleza!
The 2004 to 2005 season is where the myth fully crystallized. Barcelona, under Frank Rijkaard, were a team finally realizing the potential that Laporta's project had promised. And at the center of everything, orbiting, creating, destroying, dancing, was Ronaldinho. He won the FIFA World Player of the Year award at the end of 2004. He would win it again at the end of 2005. 2 in a row. In December 2005, he won the Ballon d'Or, the Golden Ball, the most prestigious individual award in European football. He was 24 years old. Barcelona won the Liga in 2004 to 2005 with 77 points. They were extraordinary. Ronaldinho was at the center of all of it. The dribbling, the passing, the goals, the moments of genius that turn a match inside out in seconds. But there was something else happening that season that would prove more significant than any individual trophy. His name was Lionel Messi. Messi had arrived at Barcelona's youth academy, La Masia, as a 13-year-old from Argentina. He was already exceptional, technically brilliant, extraordinarily intelligent, but still a teenager finding his way in a senior dressing room. The player he attached himself to, the player he watched training, the player he learned from, was Ronaldinho. This was not incidental. The relationship was documented and discussed at the time. Ronaldinho took Messi under his wing in a way that was uncharacteristic for football at that level. Competitive, pressurized, where senior players often treat youngsters as threats. Ronaldinho did the opposite. He trained with Messi. He showed him things. He encouraged him. He treated him as an equal before the world knew the name Lionel Messi. And on the 1st of May, 2005, in a Liga match against Albacete, Ronaldinho assisted Messi's first senior goal for Barcelona. Messi was 17 years old. Ronaldinho found him in the box with a pass of perfect weight and angle. And Messi finished with a chip over the goalkeeper that displayed the genius already fully formed inside him. At the final whistle, Ronaldinho lifted Messi onto his shoulders, literally lifted him, to present him to the Camp Nou crowd. Think about that. The best player in the world at that moment, celebrating not his own goals, not his own performance, but the arrival of someone who would eventually eclipse him. There was no envy, no ego, just joy. This is who Ronaldinho was.
Bueno, un jugador extraordinario, un jugador diferente, un jugador de mucha fantasía, un jugador que la gente iba y esperaba cosas de él porque siempre salía con con algo diferente y hacía disfrutar muchísimo al público. Un jugador especial por la característica que tenía, por las cosas que hacía dentro de la cancha, por la calidad individual superior a cualquiera y porque se divertía haciéndolo y se le notaba y divertía a la gente.
Then came 2006, the Champions League. Barcelona in 2005 to 2006 were relentless. They won the Liga again with 82 points. In Europe, they were devastating. Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea, AC Milan were swept aside. In the final in Paris, the Stade de France, they faced Arsenal. Arsenal had gone ahead through a Sol Campbell header. They were extraordinary in that first half, organized, disciplined, dangerous. And then Arsenal goalkeeper Jens Lehmann was sent off for a foul outside the area. Reduced to 10 men with 70 minutes left, Barcelona took over. Samuel Eto'o equalized. Then, Barcelona were champions of Europe. Ronaldinho, at 26, was the best player in the world with a Champions League medal. But it was what happened in training, in the corridors, in the moments between the big moments, that defined him. He danced. In training, Ronaldinho would put music on and play with a rhythm that was closer to dance than sport. He would juggle the ball to the beat. He would improvise moves that served no tactical purpose and every artistic purpose. His teammates would stop and watch, not from obligation, from genuine pleasure. He made the great defenders look foolish without a single moment of cruelty. When he nutmegged you, he was not celebrating your humiliation. He was celebrating the beauty of the moment. The other players sensed this, which is why, uniquely in the history of elite football, the players he destroyed respected him for it. After the Bernabeu standing ovation, after 60,000 Real Madrid fans stood to applaud him, a journalist asked Sergio Ramos what it felt like to be on the same pitch as Ronaldinho that night. Ramos answered carefully, with the gravity of someone who had just witnessed something they knew they would remember forever.
Yo creo que ha sido el jugador más mágico que he visto en la historia del fútbol. He visto hacerle cosas que no he visto a lo largo de mi vida en otros jugadores. Para mí, un jugador diferente, el mago, ¿no? Es mágico, todo lo que ha hecho, un genio. Yo creo que sí, yo creo que a todos nos ha marcado el fútbol de Ronaldinho, el dribbling, la velocidad, los goles, todo. Creo que ha sido un jugador único. Sí, bueno, a mí siempre me ha inspirado en los jugadores mejores del mundo y Ronaldinho ha sido uno de los mejores. Yo creo que no solo para mí, yo creo que ha dejado un legado, ¿no? de lo que es el fútbol diferente, la samba brasileña, la visión de juego, la velocidad, el desborde, o sea, es un cúmulo de valores que él reúne que lo tienen muy pocos jugadores en la historia del fútbol.
This is not about statistics. Ronaldinho's Wikipedia page will tell you the numbers. The goals, the assists, the trophies, the awards. You can find those in 30 seconds. That is not what this chapter is about. This chapter is about something harder to measure. Something that does not appear on a data dashboard or in a heat map. It is about the quality that made him unlike anyone who came before or anyone who has come since. It is about how he actually played the game.
Let's talk about Ronaldinho. If you take my generation, we're all gonna say Ronaldinho was favorite. His prime was maybe 2, 3, 4 years.
Exactly.
He should don't have more, but what he bring on the pitch, thank you. Thank you.
One of your favorite footballers was the great Ronaldinho.
Correct. He was just free, man. He looked like he enjoyed himself when he played, and it looked like it wasn't about anything else apart from expressing himself and enjoying, which is no matter who you are, man. That guy, you know what he's on. You know what he's about.
This was one of the time where I was like shocked. I looked at him, it's like Ronaldinho came in with his hair, bang, he had the band on, you know, big watch. He came in, I was like, Ronaldinho, bro. Forget all of them in the dressing room. It's Ronaldinho R10.
Is he the best, Ronaldinho? Would you still put Ronaldinho?
Yeah. For me, the way I love to see football and the way it's played as a showman and the things he done for me is the best player who ever touched the ball.
Every performance was different. Every touch was a new sentence in a language being invented in real time. This is what modern football has almost entirely eliminated. The high-pressing, structured, positionally disciplined football of the 2010s and 2020s is classical orchestration. Every player knows exactly where they should be, when they should move, what the note is. The system is the genius, not the individual. Ronaldinho was the individual. The system existed around him, but it was not him. He was the anomaly the system permitted because the system recognized that some things cannot be engineered. Some things just happen when the right human being is on the pitch with the ball at their feet. He also played with a joy that was entirely genuine and completely unique. You watch the footage and you see him nutmeg a defender, thread the ball through a player's legs, and you see him laugh. Not a taunting laugh, not a performance for the crowd, a genuine, full-body laugh of delight, as if he was surprised by what he had done, as if the ball had done something wonderful and he was the first spectator. He hugged opponents. He celebrated goals with the defenders who had failed to stop them. Ronaldinho did not play to dominate. He played to express. The difference is everything.
Where is he? For 2 years, 2 or 3 years, the best player on the planet. Played with a smile on his face. He'd done things on a football pitch that no one even contemplated trying. Players like Messi and that were looking at him like the Messiah. He had me just like, I was just transfixed every time he played around that time and beyond that. When he was at Barcelona in that period and the clips we just seen, he was just a joke of a footballer. But the moments, man, that Ronaldinho has done live with generations of people forever, ever, 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 ever.
The one that everyone was looking to see and his goals, his trick. Now, he was, at that point, obviously the best player in the world, and he definitely inspired me, even in different ways, because I'm not a striker, of course, in different ways to who I am today.
Here is the tension in the story of Ronaldinho. He loved music, parties, late nights. He was free, joyfully, unapologetically human. As elite football grew stricter and more scientific, he did not. By 2006-07, the edge had dulled. Recovery slowed. Structure tightened across the sport. The game was moving toward total control, the era later defined by figures like Pep Guardiola. Systems, data, optimization. It worked. The trophies proved it. But there was less room for jazz. Ronaldinho belonged to a narrow window in time when freedom was still celebrated, before everything became orchestration. 10 years later, the system might not have tolerated him. He was the last of that kind. In 2008, he left FC Barcelona for AC Milan at 28. Not old, but no longer untouchable. There were still flashes, goals, gasps, genius breaking through. But less often. After Milan came Brazil again, most notably Atletico Mineiro, where he won the 2013 Copa Libertadores and reminded everyone the magic had simply shifted continents. Later spells in Mexico and Brazil followed. He retired in 2018. Even at 39, in charity matches, the elastico still worked. The defender still fell. He still laughed and helped them up. The magic never vanished. It just dimmed. Ronaldinho was not the most disciplined, not the longest at the top, not the most decorated. But between 2003 and 2006, under the lights in Barcelona, he made football feel the way children imagine it. Fearless, improvised, beautiful. He inspired a young Lionel Messi. He silenced Madrid. He made stadiums hold their breath. He was not the greatest ever. He was something rarer, the most alive. Freedom, smiling back at the world. And for a few years, the world smiled with him.
Ronaldinho está pouco mais atrás. Olha só o lençol, que beleza!